Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Sunday service. I stopped doing this a few weeks ago. I can't even remember why I stopped doing it, but it seems an appropriate time to bring it back. As I said yesterday, I'm trying to keep the videos down to 30 minutes at a time, at least until I get the software sorted out. But I don't know about you, but my attention span doesn't go much beyond half an hour as far as watching stuff goes, videos anyway. So I think this is probably better. So you'll have, well, from now on, a Saturday movie zone and a Sunday service. What's the difference between the two? Not a lot, to be honest. The Sunday service will basically be a continuation of what I was basically doing yesterday. I don't usually have time to cram everything in, especially with all the material that you guys give me to work with, which I need you to keep it coming. So it just seems sensible to me to divide it into two videos and do them on two separate days. I think it'll work. Let's see how we go. What do you guys think? Let me know. Right, continuing from yesterday, I've got Mark's comments on last week's video. Well, I haven't got Guy's 3 T's, but I have got coffee and last night's leftover Mexicana pizza and Tony time. Oh my god, one of my pet hates leftover pizza for breakfast. Mark, you savage. I can't imagine anything worse than eating pizza for breakfast. Oh no, definitely not. I think Guy's 3 T's were tea, tobacco, I don't know, someone told us, was it tits? I can't remember. Wherever it was, you were quite happy with it, Mark. No better way to start the day. I would quite agree with you at that, apart from the pizza bit, which is just horrible. So glad that you watched the Hood trilogy, but now you've got to watch another Hood. I guess I have. I know something about this one. Also, I can't recommend the series Top Boy enough. It's on Netflix, absolutely brilliant. I think I saw a couple of episodes of the original. Isn't this a remake of something that was around in the 90s or the 2000s? I can't remember. But I seem to remember hearing the title Top Boy before. So let me know on that. I mean, maybe I'll give it a go. I seem to be going through a sort of a Hood trilogy phase at the moment, so there's a very good possibility I will kind of take that one on. And I also believe some other Hood is out next month. Another one? Is this a parody again? Is this a spoof, or is this another serious one? Is it a continuation of the original trilogy? I thought we'd pretty much brought it to a close with the last one, but let me know what that one's all about. I'll have a look later on IMDb and see what they say about it. Another Hood, back to this one, is a spoof parody movie of the Hood trilogy, made by Adam Deacon, who played Jay in Kidulthood and Adulthood. I think I remember Jay. Is that the one and only white kid that was in it? Yeah, I feel sure that's the one. He accused Noel Clarke of bullying him, and that's why he wasn't cast in Brotherhood. So he wrote and directed and starred in another Hood in retaliation against Clarke. Yeah, I mean, that has definitely piqued my interest in watching it, just to basically see him parodying himself as he was in the first 2 movies. So yeah, I almost certainly will take in another Hood. I will see if I can grab hold of a copy of that. I'm fairly sure it's on Prime or Netflix, or it'll be streaming somewhere. So I will take a look at that and I'll let you know what I think about that one. I've also taken on board that list of recommendations that you put in, I think it was last week's video. I can't remember because I've not got them up here. I've forgotten to write them down, but I've downloaded the posters for them so I don't forget. Stuff like Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, Notorious, the Friday movies. I used to know somebody that was well into those. They just didn't appeal to me, but he loved them. So I've made a note of those and I will be taking those in at some point, so I'll let you know how I get on with that. Hunt Your Geek is showing the latest episode. Guys, this was my favourite so far. I really, really enjoyed this one. Movies you wish you'd seen on the big screen. I think you said a few weeks ago that I kind of inspired this one, because I think I bought this one up. And being the juggernaut that it is, it will continue to roll on, because I'm definitely not done with it. Let's see, where do I start with this one? By the way, it was nice to see Gizmo and Hendrix on screen again. This whole episode was a total pussy fest, thanks to those two. They're cats, in case you're wondering. Oh, and there was a little joke in there as well about what's the difference between Guy and a block of cheddar? The cheese will eventually mature. I like that. That's probably my favourite line in the whole thing. It was a brilliant episode, guys. I really, really enjoyed this one. I will go as far as to say this is my favourite episode so far, without a doubt. It reminded me of a podcast that I listen to most weeks. I've actually gone back and started listening to the ones from 4 years ago, the early ones, called the Pure Cinema podcast. The Pure Cinema podcast is run by the guys who work at and own the New Beverly Cinema in Hollywood, Los Angeles. And what it is, they've just got an encyclopedic knowledge of old movies and new ones, and I could listen to them for hours. It's a very similar format to the Quentin Tarantino, Roger Avery podcast, which is called, can't remember what it's called. I love it, I can't remember it. But they adopted the top 5 format a while ago, and it really, really works for me. They talk about a specific genre, a specific star, director, or whatever, and just talk about 5 of their favourites, 5 each. There's 2 guys that do it. I can't remember the names either. I should have written all this down. But this format of top 5s really, really works for me. I love it. They tease you with a few details of the movie, when it was made, who was in it, and then they hit you with the title and you think, oh my god, what a choice. And you did exactly the same thing yesterday, and I really, really loved it. I enjoyed it so much. Let's see. Oh, what was this about me being Guy's replacement? I can't remember what it was to do with, but you said something about maybe Tony could replace you. And you said that you didn't think you'd be able to cope with me, or I'd be able to cope with you. I think it's the other way round, actually. I think you'd have a job coping with me. I've got a very specific style in the way I do these things, and I don't think... I don't know, maybe it would. Maybe it's on the cards. Let's see, where are we? Oh, your choice of movies. Oh, wow. Some of these were absolutely amazing. Return of Swamp Thing. I think that was one of Callie's. I've never seen it. I didn't realise it was a Wes Craven movie. As soon as I heard that, I thought, oh, that sounds like one I'd like to watch. I do remember something about the original Swamp Thing. Vaguely, a vague memory. I've certainly not seen it. Was Heather Locklear in that one as well? Can't remember. But I've certainly never seen it. But I would certainly be up for watching Return of Swamp Thing, as it's a Wes Craven movie. So I'd be more than up for that one. What else have we got here? Star Wars, the original versions. Yeah, it's hardly likely that you are ever going to see them released, because I think old spoilsport George Lucas has said he doesn't want them coming out that way. What you're looking for, Guy, is the despecialized editions. I did have a box. I've forgotten to bring it down. I'll sort it out for next week. A box designed to hold them, basically a DVD, a Blu-ray case, to hold the despecialized editions should I decide to try to track them down, because they're not the easiest things to get hold of, as I'm sure you can appreciate. But yeah, the original Star Wars, obviously I remember going to see that. I turned up on opening night and the queues were right round the block and right down High Street. I turned around and thought, I'll come back another time. Came back about 3 weeks later, and I was literally the only one in there. This was straight after school, so I'd have been about 15 at the time, and what a movie. I came out of that thinking, what the hell was that? Never seen nothing like that before. Absolutely loved it, and I've been in love with Star Wars ever since. The original trilogy, that is, just that one, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Not so much the prequels or the next trilogy, whatever they were called, the prequels or sequels or whatever. So, but the original trilogy, absolutely, totally with you on that one. What else we got here? Nightmare on Elm Street. Didn't see it at the cinema. I remember watching that on VHS when it was first released. And yeah, scarefest, total scarefest, brilliant movie. Superman 1 and 2, I think this was Guy's choice. What a choice. Yes, I do remember seeing the original Superman, along with the tagline, "You'll believe a man can fly." I mean, I'm sure it probably looks a little bit ropey nowadays, I don't know. I haven't seen it for quite a while, but back then, the special effects, especially the flying sequences, were state of the art. It was an amazing film. It was also a long film. I remember it being over 2 hours. And Superman 2, just as good, a worthy sequel, if not better than the original. So totally with you on that. And I think, Callie, you were asking, when was Superman the movie premiered on terrestrial TV? Jason is your man for that. Jace, I've had a look and I can't find it. When was Superman the movie first screened on terrestrial TV? You're running a thread of this at the moment, so pop that on if you can. If it hasn't already been on and I've just been blind and not seen it. But Callie wants to know when that was first premiered, or was it Guy? Can't remember. First premiered on terrestrial TV. So Jason's your man for that one. And I quite agree about the soundtracks of these movies. The soundtracks of these 70s and 80s movies were just amazing. I mean, obviously I noticed them on the new movies, but not as much as I do on the older ones. And the thing is, with a lot of the newer movies, the themes are pretty much forgettable sort of thing. There are not many that I remember sort of weeks, months, years afterwards. Whereas the original soundtracks to movies like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Jaws, all that kind of thing, they rattle around in your head for decades afterwards, and they are still there now. Classic soundtracks, and we've never known the like since. I don't think we'll know it again either. I mean, I listen a lot to Mark Commode's Scala Radio soundtrack show that he does every Saturday. And as much as I enjoy it, I listen to them and I think, I'll have forgotten that by tomorrow. Whereas you'll never ever forget the first time you hear the Star Wars theme, or the Empire Strikes Back march, the Imperial March, Indiana Jones and all that sort of thing. I even used to love the soundtracks to The Omen. I did have them on vinyl. I may still have them upstairs, and I really do need to go upstairs and have a look to find out whether I've still got all these other vinyl soundtracks. I thought I'd given most of them away or sold them or something, but I'm told that they are still upstairs somewhere, so I'll have a look. But yeah, I used to play the soundtrack to The Omen. Sometimes I'd have the windows in my bedroom open. God knows what the neighbours thought. They must have thought I was having some kind of satanic ritual up there or something. I don't know. But yeah, I did love the soundtrack for that one, and to all the to the old 70s and 80s. RoboCop. This was yours, Callie. Seen at 6 years old. What the fuck? What kind of an impact must that have had? I saw the original, well, the UK version when it was first released, and I thought it was really, really unbearably violent. And then I got wind of the unrated edition, the American edition, which I ordered from the States, and straight away you saw the difference, the extended shooting of Murphy. There were loads of scenes in there that were extended, that obviously the British censors, the British Board of Film Censors, had cut from the UK version. And I think I've still got that upstairs. I will have a look and I'll show that off next week if I remember. But God knows what effect that must have had. And I do agree with you on the scene that haunted you the most. Toxic Waste Guy. God, as you said, the flesh hanging off the fingers and that scream. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It haunted me for quite a while. It still does. I haven't seen it for quite a while, but I'm fairly sure that scene would still get to me. So yeah, totally with you on that. 6 years old RoboCop, way to go. Heat. This was Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, and was Robert De Niro in this one? Can't remember. I've seen part of it, but I've never seen the whole thing. I think the only part I've seen of it is the shoot up outside the bank, which was spectacular. But I've heard it's been released on 4K, and apparently if you've got a sound bar, you are there. So that's one I do need to take in. Tron. Cracking movie. Jeff Bridges. I do remember being impressed with the visuals, the special effects. They were really, really good. Not seen the sequel, which I believe Jeff Bridges was also in, but I do need to take both of those in again at some point. The Crow, that's got to be Callie's. I'd have been very surprised if The Crow hadn't made it into this list. Still need to watch it. I believe it's streaming on either Netflix or Prime, so I will be taking a look at that. And what a double bill we had next. Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. What a double feature that would be. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. Dawn of the Dead. Again, I remember that coming out on Intervision Video. Do you remember that label? Yeah, cracking movie. I remember working with somebody at the time. I'd have been about 17. And he'd been to see it at the pictures, and he said it was the most violent, gory thing he'd ever seen. And when I watched it, I realised why. So, and your number one choice, Guy, was obviously, where is it? Planet of the Apes, the original. As I think I've said before, my memory of Planet of the Apes, going to see it at the pictures anyway, was going to see it on a double bill with Escape to the Planet of the Apes. And this is when they used to let you in before the last double bill had finished. So they let us in and let us stand at the top of the stairs where we could see the screen. And basically, I saw the ending before the actual movie, which didn't ruin it for me, but I thought at the end, I thought that would have had so much more of an impact if I'd have seen the rest of it. So I'm afraid that brilliant ending of Planet of the Apes completely lost its impact for me thanks to that. But what a choice for number one. Quite agree with you on that one. What have we got here? Gosh, just, it's funny because when you said 1968, you said it was a film from 1968. I thought you were going to say Easy Rider. I've got Easy Rider in my mind because I'm fairly sure that is probably... I would imagine that would make it into your top 10. Am I right or wrong on that one? I love Easy Rider. Not seen it for a while, but I love that movie. But that's what I thought you were going to say when you said 1968. Let's see, where are we? Notes. Honourable mentions. Let's see, Halloween and The Thing. That would be a hell of a double feature. I saw both of those at the cinema. The one I regret not seeing or couldn't see because I'd have only been 14, if we're talking John Carpenter, would have to be Assault on Precinct 13. I remember seeing a clip of that movie on Barry Norman's weekly show and thinking, my God, that looks so unbelievably cool. Obviously the guns with the silencers, it just looked amazing, and I really, really wanted to see it. So a double feature of Halloween and Assault on Precinct 13, that would be my perfect double bill as far as Carpenter goes. And I think, Callie, you said Alien and Predator. I did see Alien, the original, at the pictures. It would have been about 1979. So it would have been one of the first X certificate movies I saw. I knew about the chestburster scene, and just as I realised it was about to happen, I got up and walked out and took a break from it because I didn't think I could cope with it. Such a wuss. I came in and pretty much everybody looked at me and said, looked at me as if to say, "You've just missed the best part, you Wally." So, yeah, I have seen the original Alien. Predator came out on VHS when I worked at the video library, so that's when I first saw that one. I've never seen so many copies of one particular film come in at the same time and every single copy go out as Predator. They covered a complete whole panel, near enough. There must have been 20, 30 copies at least, and they all went out. So I do remember that one. Another thing you talked about, I loved this podcast, this episode, really did. Another thing you talked about was wanting to see a retro cinema open. Conversations like this always start with, if I won the lottery, and this is going to be the same. If I won the lottery, and this has been a dream of mine for so many years, I would open a retro cinema in Burton, and it would screen nothing but movies that were over 30 years old, nothing younger than 30 years old. I would screen classics like Close Encounters, Saturday Night Fever, The Omen, all that sort of stuff, all of the old movies. That is my dream, and I would deck it out in all old posters, concession stands. It would look like a throwback to the 1960s or 70s. My biggest dream, and it will happen. One day I will make that happen. But yeah, I'm totally with it on that. I always watch my episodes as well before I send them out. I think Guy said you would never watch an episode that you recorded. As you said, I was there. Well, I wouldn't want to record it, but I always like to make sure that it looks okay, and I don't look like a total dick. So I always have a look at it. And I was caught doing it at work. On a break one day, I took a little laptop in with me, and I was watching one of my episodes, and one of the guys come up behind me and basically said, "You fucking narcissist, you're watching yourself." I said, "No, I'm just making sure it came out all right." God, so yeah, you're not the only one that does it, mate. So yeah, totally enjoyed that episode. Please, let's have more like that, with top 5 lists. I absolutely love this top 5 format. It just does it for me, and it does. So yeah, I look forward to the next one. Quick review for you. Watched a movie last night, as I've already said, called No One Will Save You. Now, if you want to know, the ins and outs of what it's about, check out Dave Oliver's review, because he did a cracking review of this movie, and I completely agree with pretty much everything he said. He said that he didn't understand the ending. I pretty much knew that if you don't get it, I certainly ain't going to get it. And I didn't. The movie is amazing. It's basically a home invasion stroke alien abduction movie, about a young lady that lives in the middle of nowhere, on the outskirts of a small town. Something has happened in her past that makes her uncomfortable about going into the town. We kind of find out roughly what it is. I'm not going to dive into spoilers here, because this movie has only been on streaming for probably about 3-4 days, so I'm not going to go into spoilers. But I will say that it's one of the best white knuckle rides that I have ever been on. It is amazing. I thought it was brilliant. Apart from the ending, as Dave says, the last 15 to 20 minutes made absolutely no sense whatsoever. But up until then, it was just amazing. I was well impressed. There's no dialogue in it, nothing at all. I think she says one line of three, 4 words. There is no dialogue in this at all. And as Dave said, to make a movie work with no dialogue at all is a hard thing to do. And I couldn't tell you the name of the director, but I think he's got a very, very bright future if this was the first movie for him. It's screening on Disney Plus, or it's streaming on Disney Plus. If you get the chance to watch it, I would definitely have a look at it. What I will say is, if I think that if John Carpenter, Brian De Palma, and possibly Nicholas Roeg collaborated on an alien abduction stroke home invasion movie, it would look something like this. It was really, really nerve-wracking. And I do, forgive me for plagiarising your review, Dave, I don't mean to, but I do kind of agree with the fact that we saw the alien a little bit too early on. We pretty much knew what they were going to look like. They looked like the standard greys, but I would say that they did show it just a little bit too early, but a minor criticism. Excellent movie if you get the chance to check it out. Not sure it's your kind of thing, Jace. I'd be very curious to see whether it was, or basically how long it lasted in your house when you actually put it on. I have to say Rob wasn't keen. He did watch it, and the only thing he said at the end was, "What the fuck were they smoking when they wrote this?" So I thought, yeah, fair enough, you didn't like it then. So that won't be going on again, which is a shame because I thought it was okay. Highlight of the last 20 minutes, which I didn't get the plot point at all, it just wasn't happening for me, was a lovely song called Knock on Any Door by Ruby Murray, which I've already added to my playlist on Spotify. So that was the highlight of the ending for me. And what it did, it reminded me of this, Dark Skies. Now if you've not seen this, if you like a good alien abduction movie, this unnerved me to the core. I've seen it a couple of times, and to me this is genuinely terrifying. I know there are a lot of people out there that would watch this and think there's nothing to it, but this is basically Close Encounters for grown-ups, Close Encounters for a horror generation. I thought this was brilliant. So if you get a chance to watch this, if you enjoyed No One Will Save You, grab a copy of Dark Skies. I promise you won't be disappointed with it. I think I've just got time for shows I grew up with, and also to quickly show you what I bought this week. Shows I grew up with. Sticking with the Planet of the Apes theme, I loved this. They only did about 13 episodes, but they were all brilliant. It came out around about 1974, it started screening. And my story with this is that my dad used to watch this series, The Brothers, on BBC. It was basically a boardroom drama, basically detailing all the relationships, the backstabbing, the affairs, the boardroom fights and stuff like that. He loved this. It ran for years on the BBC, and then Planet of the Apes promptly landed on ITV at the same time. And what my dad used to do was run me and my brother and sister over to my aunt's house in Walton, which was must be about 5 or 6 miles away, every single week, so that he could watch The Brothers. This was obviously before the days when you got VHS and you could just record one channel after another. He run us over there to watch Planet of the Apes with her, and then had to come all the way back about 2 hours later to fetch us back. So that's how I remember Planet of the Apes. But if you've not seen it, it's a cracking series. Really, really good. Easily matches up to, I would say, the last 3 movies. It will never equal the first. Never. Nothing ever could. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching if you get a chance. And what have I bought this week? I've been really, really good this week. Really good. I've bought no discs. I've got one on order which is coming this week. I'm trying to cut down. Because here's me trying to dump titles and send them to the charity shop, and I'm buying more than I'm actually getting rid of, which is a complete opposite of what I wanted to do. So I'm trying to ease off a little bit. I've got the latest issue of Empire, which I'll get into, and I found this in Morrison's. It was an impulse buy. Doctor Who. It's done by the Daily Mirror. Travel back in time across 6 decades of Doctor Who. I've not even opened it, but I will have a read of that. So it's going to cover all 6 Doctors, I presume, or 6 decades. So yeah, I will be taking a look at that. I think that is it, folks. I was going to do a little section on movie urban myths, but I'm going to keep that till next week. It'll give me a head start on next week's stuff. Yeah, I think you'll find that quite interesting. Right, I'm going to let you go because I'm coming up to 30 minutes. Hope you're enjoying the yet another new format, which is obviously one on Saturday and one on Sunday. I think it'll work well, but you let me know. Any comments, obviously drop them in the comments section either on the YouTube channel or on Facebook. All comments and questions will be most welcome and will help towards next week's instalments. So hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've enjoyed it, please thumbs up, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Very much appreciated. Have a brilliant week, folks, and I will be back with you at the same time next week. Take care, folks. Have a good time. Ta-ra.